Guys, I'm going live again. I'm a little bit late today, but it was a busy day at work. But I wanted to try to get a live session in at least for a little while and just share with you. I know the lighting's off, but what I wanted to share tonight, is just centered around health. And health is your wealth. Your health, it makes everything in life possible as far as enjoyment and quality of life. Hey, it's Miss Kimberly. How are you, beautiful? How was your day? Health makes everything in life more enjoyable. Nothing will affect your quality of life like your health. When I got in my mid and late 20s and I really let myself go, I kind of felt like, well, I don't want a relationship. I'm going to kind of like hibernate and just eat what I want and just really let myself go and not care what people think. It didn't affect, my joy as far as my happiness of life because I always had a positive outlook for the most part. But it began to affect my quality of life with just I began to struggle. Milano, that's my guy. Love and respect to Miami. Love you, Milano. Appreciate you. It's Miss Kimberly. I'm good, hon. Relaxing. Good. Good. Glad to hear that. But when I really began to let myself go and get really overweight, the quality of life started to affect me with small tasks, such as tying my shoes. Tying my shoes became a challenge. Even wiping my butt, reaching all the way behind there. I want to be honest with you. I don't want to give you a bunch of BS. And then even like small things like waking up in the morning and being comfortable in my clothes to get to work. And certainly when you're off and you can wear sweatpants, or you can wear basketball shorts, or if you're a female, whatever you like to wear. But when you have to, somewhat dress up, whether it's for work or formal events, not being comfortable in your clothes really hurts your quality of life. Certainly you can buy sizes bigger, which I've also did for years, but then you also get to a point where there's only so many, 5X's you can buy. You can only go so high up, you know what I mean, with the sizes. And and that really begins to deteriorate your quality of life. Even if you're a confident person, even if you don't care what people think, because it's not necessarily about vanity, it's about being comfortable and being able to enjoy the small daily things throughout the day. Because as you get older and mature, you realize that life is really not about enjoying a big party or going to a big club, etc., etc. It's about enjoying the journey, enjoying the small ride along the way. Excuse me, as my glasses, because I should put my contacts on when I do the live stream, but at the end of the day, sometimes I'm tired and I don't feel like putting them on. Excuse me. I'm gonna see Miss Kimberly left me a comment here, and I'm gonna get back to it. What do you think led you to weight gain? Well, one is, let me put it in context. I was always, when I was born, I have a big body frame. I mean, I work out and I stay in shape. That body frame will be solid muscle and it'll be, you know what I mean, big. But also, in conjunction with that, my family does have a history of overeating on my mother's side. My mother's side, her sister died of obesity, basically ate herself to death. I remember visiting her and she would just like eat a pot of pasta right off the stove. She would take that pot off the stove, a big cook pot, get a fork and eat the pasta right out of it. She would just overeat. And my mom has diabetes. She would overeat. So the whole side of that family struggles with weight. My father was, always real skinny and real in shape, but he was a little bit extreme the opposite way. Even though he was skinny, he really would put a lot of mental stress on himself to stay at the exact weight he was supposed to be for his height. So I saw the two extremes in life: overeating extreme and obesity, and also, if it's not anorexia, it's still a disorder where, so particular about the weight that you have no freedom of thought. When your mind is not free and you are controlled by an image of perfect, or you have no self control, you're just totally let yourself go, it's an undisciplined, unhealthy mind. And it does go back to a level of a mental disorder. I'm building context around the whole subject of weight. In addition, health is not solely about weight. There are plenty of skinny people with high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and that are just overall unhealthy. I know skinny people who smoke cigarettes. I know skinny people that, again, they just have bad cholesterol, etc. So weight is only one metric of health. I want to be very clear. So I am talking about a holistic look at health. Like, weight is one part of it. It's a big part of it. Obviously, your diet, a level of activity, and also how you manage stress and your mental health. That's all part of the whole equation. So what made me let myself go is after my early 20s, when I was really working out and I was in shape, I was out in the clubs, I was real into the social life. I mean, most people when they're young and they're in their 20s, like me, you're social. You want to engage, and you want to, date, and you want to, impress people. And once I got past that, and I've always been a little bit of a person who likes solitude. We've talked about this before, it's Miss Kimberly. We both kind of like, I wouldn't call myself a full introvert because I'm very social when I need to be, as far as with work and, you know what I mean, other things. So, but I do have a very, what they would call introverted, I need a certain amount of alone time. So I'm totally comfortable with being alone. So when you're totally comfortable with being alone, then you're not really trying to impress anybody at all. You can just totally let yourself go because you say, hey, well, what the hell does it matter to me? I'm confident and I don't care. So that kind of just started the mindset. And then I always had in my mind, well, I'll just hit the trigger. I'll just start to change my habits when I'm in my 30s. And then when I got to my 30s, it was harder than I thought. And I started to approach getting healthier with an immature mind by solely working out and not really changing my diet. What I didn't realize was my body wasn't 18 years old. I couldn't eat a bucket of chicken and then go work out, work it all off, and then be healthy. I had to learn about nutrition, and then I also had to learn about emotional control, because overeating and eating bad foods is not just about knowing nutritional information. It's not just about reading the back of a food label. That is a huge part of it. But like Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. When you get hit in the mouth with an emotional wave of hunger, it doesn't matter how much you know about the nutritional value of something, you will eat something even though you factually know you shouldn't. There is a level, and that's like my man Milano's chiming in, there's a level of health that has to do with emotional control. It's mind, body, soul. And so information is part of that equation. You need to know the informational facts on the food, the nutritional value. But you also need to know mental health, how you view life, how you view yourself, quality of life, and then you also need to view emotional health, right? Is this an emotional wave? Am I really hungry, or am I just stressed out and I want a quick fix? And then you have to see beyond that quick fix, and then you have to see to the moment of regret when you're laying there and you're, you know what I mean, rolling on your side, wishing you didn't eat that much. Now, like I said, I went from 350 pounds, then when I got to my worst, all the way down to 150. I mean, I was eating like fruits and berries. Yeah, portion control is true. Portion control is very hard. I was never good at portion control. Even now, like I made the video earlier, just about an hour ago when I was getting my fixings. I still, at this point in my life, I still overeat a little bit healthy food. You can eat, extra bananas, extra health bars, and you know what I mean, extra fixings, even healthy, and you could be a little bit overweight. I mean, right now, technically, I am 25 pounds overweight. Overall, I'm healthy, and I actually feel better being a little bit overweight than I did when I was real skinny, like, between 150 and 170. And also, that hurt my mental health a little bit. Because when I was that lean, I mean, my first time ever in my life, I had like a 4-pack. I did not enjoy life either, because you have such a rigid mind that you don't enjoy anything. Now, I'm not a believer in a cheat day. I don't eat out anymore. I don't eat like any fried foods. I don't, really eat any meats, etc. But I don't have a cheating problem, but I'll just overeat a little bit healthy food. But that keeps my mind also at peace. Like, because when I was so strict on my diet that I would like almost have the shakes like a crack fiend, like, oh my God, I got to get, you know what I mean? I'll be sitting in front of like, I'll be, in a Popeye's chicken parking lot, like, shaking and, like, scarfing down maybe like some chicken to get my fix in and hoping nobody sees me. And I was still skinny. I was like 175, 170 pounds, But once in a while, I get a huge craving because I didn't have a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. I was still trying to balance it out. And when you lose a lot of weight, you're very fearful of gaining that weight back because there's two parts of getting to a healthy place, especially now, specifically with your weight. One is just getting to the point where you are determined enough to lose the weight without buying into the gimmicks of health programs and, you know what I mean, places that sell you food packages and, working out like a warrior. I mean, I'm talking about when you're ready to get in a healthy place for a long term and you're ready to build a lifestyle. That starts with a serious commitment of changing your entire daily routine for the long term. And usually before you get to that point, like me, you have to bottom out. I mean, I had got so overweight and then I started working out that I pinched a nerve in my chest. I thought I was having a heart attack and I went to the hospital and the doctor said, no, you don't have any problems. You pinched a nerve and it's causing short circuits with your nervous system, and those can lead to signs of a heart attack as far as how you feel, but there's no evidence that you have any type of issue with your heart. That fear, that pain scared me enough to get my life in order. And sometimes that's what has to happen to us, sadly, but this is human nature. And I've been through that. So then, you have to make a commitment that you want to do it. Then when you do it, it's a back and forth battle. It's a trial and error. You do a little bit good, then you fail, then you do good for a couple weeks, then you get off, and then you learn, like everything else in life, whether it's eating, whether it's running a YouTube channel, whether it's starting a business, whether it's whatever, everything in life, long-term sustainability is all about consistency. Consistency are the wings. Consistency are the wings that keep your lifestyle afloat. Without consistency, it's a 1 week hot, 1 week cold, back and forth life that you start to get very discouraged because, you sacrifice a lot for a couple weeks and then you blow it all in 3-4 days. But like everything in life, you have to be willing to keep getting up. Success is more about the endurance to fail and get back up than anything else. 203 New Haven, Connecticut. Respect and love to Goon Loso. Respect and love to you all day, Goon Loso. Excuse me, guys. I'm just trying to keep the lighting somewhat decent. But, I'm living in my car, and I got my glasses on, I know, but I like to be comfortable at night, especially when I work all day. But falling and getting back up is a huge part. Then once you do that and you get up enough times, you build up an endurance to say, you know what? I'm determined enough to do this. Then you'll start to lose weight because you're consistent, you're determined, you get back up. Then once you lose weight, then the next challenge is keeping it off. So I say most people that lose weight, they end up putting it back on within a year's time. And you also feel the pressure of other people, even if you don't care what people think. You say, well, now I lost weight, especially if it's an obvious loss of weight. You feel everybody's eyeballs looking at you, waiting for you to fucking overeat one thing and put on 1 pound. And that can also kill your quality of life because you feel that pressure. But you have to push past that. So then you have to find the sustainability because you have to go into a food deficit. You have to work out. I mean, but eating is 80% of it. Working out is only 20% of it. But eventually you'll start to lose weight. There's 3 pillars of health. First is cook home more, eat out less. Don't eat out. Even if it's a salmon at TGI Fridays, even if it's a salad, don't eat out. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is whites to browns. Switch your breads from white bread to whole grain bread, from regular pasta to whole grain pasta, to white rice to brown rice. The brown whole grains fill your system more, and they're not the refined, floury sugar that doesn't process properly in your digestive system. It just feeds on itself and makes you more hungry. The whole grains slow your digestion process up and they make you feel more full. And then the final step is limit or eliminate meat and dairy. Now, again, you don't have to go full-blown vegetarian, but eliminating or limiting the meat and dairy is a huge part of it. Dairy is the number 1 source of saturated fat in America. Cheeses, ice cream, etc. So certainly once in a while I have a vegetarian-based cheese, but it still has traces of milk in it. So you have to be mindful. I don't really eat ice cream anymore. I used to eat a whole bowl of like strawberry or chocolate chip mint ice cream with chocolate sprinkles at night. So, I mean, for the longest, even with ignorance, I didn't know how much cholesterol was in ice cream. I mean, I don't know why, but I always associated cholesterol with, like, fried foods or meats. I didn't realize how much cholesterol is really in dairy and cream and ice cream. You got to be very careful with that. Recently in my life too, I mean, I've seen a lot of people, whether it's who I work with, as far as like, uh, not just coworkers, but like, second and third party people that we work with and people in my family that, they look in relatively good shape, but, certain tests come back and they have high cholesterol, or they have traces of getting diabetes. And like one guy today, he's not, like, if you saw him, you wouldn't say he's overweight. He's like in decent shape. But he had got a report that, his doctor said, look, you got high cholesterol, you're almost 50, and you could possibly get diabetes. It's in your family and you're very close to it. You got to change your diet. So for today, for lunch, for the vendor that I'm speaking about, pizza was bought to like show thanks for the vendor who did hard work for us. And the one guy who was part of this group, he didn't want to go into the room where everyone was eating lunch because he didn't want to be around the pizza. He bought his own food and he couldn't be around the temptation. And I encouraged him. I said, brother, you're doing the right thing. I said, because when I first stopped eating fast food or stopped eating, stuff that you can get takeout, whether it's pizza, whether it's chicken, whether it's Chinese food, when I stopped eating that stuff, I couldn't even be around it because I didn't have the willpower. I didn't have the long-term habits that changed. I would encourage anybody, if you're starting out in your journey, don't be around anyone, whether it's at lunchtime at your job, whether it's at a family member's house with dinner. In the beginning stages of you changing your lifestyle, you can't be around anyone eating unhealthy. What you're doing is you're birthing a new lifestyle. And when you're birthing a new lifestyle, you have to protect that baby until its immune system is built up. And that means you can't be around other people that have unhealthy habits because you're just not strong enough to say no yet. And so I really gave this guy a lot of praise for and encouragement for saying, brother, you're doing the right thing by not going in that room and being around that pizza, because you're just starting to change your lifestyle and you're doing it rightfully so because you're starting to have health problems and you don't need to be around that temptation. And that's wisdom. When you're first starting off and you're changing your life, don't stay around, you don't stay around people who are eating unhealthy. They'll mock you. They won't understand. They'll think that it's just a fad. You have to be willing to feel that negative pushback and still do what you need to do for you. All progress, I mean, we talk about this often, but all progress requires a mentality of, I'm willing to be mocked. I'm willing for people not to understand my journey. I mean, certainly you're not going to live out of your car and think everybody's going to understand your journey. I mean, certainly, you're not going to go from eating fast food every other day and having lunch with the guys or with the girls and going out and drinking wine. And then, certainly you're not going to change your whole lifestyle and expect people that know you for doing something else to understand it. They're not going to understand it. You have to have the mentality that I'm okay if nobody understands my journey but me. And that's an isolated mentality. That's a little bit of a lonely mentality. But again, when you enjoy your own company, when you're confident in yourself, that's the mentality you're able to have in order to get you to your next step of a better you. And that's key. That's key. And I just want to read back on a couple of comments. It's Miss Kimberly said boredom. Yeah, boredom is a huge part of overeating and being overeating, period, or just eating the unhealthy things. I mean, we talked about a little bit last night. Idle time is the devil's playground. Anytime you're bored, something unhealthy will usually happen, whether it's food or anything else. Milano said the hardest part is to keep the weight off. And Milano's 100% right. He's very wise. It is hard. It's hard to but that's why you always have to look at it as a lifestyle change. Certainly, if you're coming from a place of very overweight, you're going to dramatically do some things that make you drop the weight. As soon as you stop eating out, you'll shed 25 pounds right off the door. Like, I didn't even work out. I didn't even really stop overeating. All I did was stop eating out every day, and I dropped like 25 pounds. I mean, again, granted, I was obese. I was 350. So to drop 25 pounds off that, it don't take much. But I want to encourage you, if you get really overweight, just stop eating out. You'll drop 25 pounds in 2 weeks without even working out, without doing anything. And and then you just build from there. But that's the first step, is just stop eating out, period. Milano said endurance. Yes, life is about endurance. That means you fall, you get back up, and you have compassion on yourself. That's part of the journey of weight loss too. One is, I think it's a blessing if you ever do get overweight, because I think you have more compassion on the world. I think most people in this world will struggle with weight or health problems. Again, there are many skinny people who are unhealthy. So always remember that weight is only the obvious sign of one aspect of health. There are many skinny, unhealthy people. So just be mindful of that. But I think when you realize that health is your wealth, I think you have unlocked the number one key of life. Certainly in health, there's things we can't control, meaning you fall, you get in an accident, you have something inside your body with your DNA that you can't control. But in life, again, we can never focus on what we can't control. We can only focus on what we can control. So that means you have to always focus all your energy and time on what you can control, and you also have to show compassion on yourself and not beat yourself up, not talk negative about yourself. I mean, I know it sounds corny, but I'm serious, like, because I know how people are. Like, they'll say they're very compassionate, and very compassionate people, you know who they're the hardest on? Themselves. They show love and compassion to everybody else, but then, like, they'll go home, they'll overeat, and they'll talk negative about themselves. And I've seen that, I almost got seduced into that. I've seen that with family members, sometimes with my mom. And, when you start to talk negative about yourself, you'll never get better. The first part of getting better is to have a positive image of yourself, even when you know you fucked up. You have to be honest with yourself. I'm never a believer in pandering or, trying to. I am a believer in being honest with others and yourself as much as you can. But after you're honest with yourself, you have to have compassion, because if you don't have compassion, then you know what comes next? A pity party. And a pity party is just an endless road that leads to no progress. Compassion, push forward, and you go from there. Endurance. Quino is a good choice. I think I may have heard of Quino, but what's that? It's Miss Kimberly. I'm not sure if I know that. It's Miss Kimberly. Also stop drinking cow's milk. Yes. Soy milk or almond milk are great. I mean, you have to read food labels, because sometimes certain products that do have traces of milk in them, and sometimes even I eat them. But just be mindful of that. But yeah, if you can overall, again, everything in life is about having a goal. You may not ever 100% get there, but if your aim could be on having a plant-based diet overall and not consuming dairy overall, you will be better than what you started. And that's always the end game, not to be perfect, but to be better than what you started. That's what it is. Amaray, if I'm saying your name right, forgive me if I'm not. I need to write down some of your wisdom. Well, one, thank you for your kind comment, and great to meet you, Amaray. I think I'm saying that right. Amaray, God bless you. It takes time to develop good habits. Amaray, you're 100% right. It does take time. And that's the discouraging thing, is that not only does it take time to change habits, but I think studies say that it takes 8 to 12 weeks for your body start to make physical changes. So you have to do basically 3 months of consistent behavior before you'll start to see a noticeable difference in your clothes, in how you're breathing, and how you're able to walk. So, and I always say 3 months is a huge number that you should write down. It's just like an unhealthy relationship. I always tell you, you need 3 months of no contact before your body begins to heal. And every time you make contact with that person in an unhealthy relationship, that clock restarts. It's the same thing with a healthy diet. It takes 3 months of you sustaining healthy habits. And every time you have a cheat day or something like that clock resets. Now, certainly in the beginning, it's tough, and you have to, maybe if you're really like where I was, where you really let yourself go, you'll have to just wean yourself off the bad stuff. And once in a while, you have to take a big step forward. And sometimes what it'll take too, almost like me, it'll take you to have to get sick. Because when you get sick, you realize that working out is such a small part of it. Because when you get sick, you can't work out, but you'll lose a dramatic amount of weight just because you don't have the stomach to eat. Like when you break up with somebody and you're so stressed out that you have like the stomach bubbles, you don't even eat. And you realize that you can lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks by not working out a 1 minute. Why? Because 80% of weight loss and weight management is really just diet and food intake. It's really not working out. Certainly now I work out lightly at Planet Fitness and I walk every day, but it's consistent and I built a lifestyle around it. And that took time. It took me about 3 years to get 200 pounds off. So it wasn't 3 months. It wasn't, So, it takes time. But I want to encourage you that, again, even if you don't end up 100% where you want to be, just have a goal to be better and you'll end up better. Excuse me. Milano, also, people drink, Also, people drinks and smoke. That's right. Drinking and smoking, get them out of your friends. Yes. Having bad influences around you, they matter. Definitely as I got older, I realized that more and more. The people that surround your life make a big difference. And Milano's 100% right. And it took for me to really get away from certain friends, even to separate myself from certain family members to get my life in order. But anyone who loves you can appreciate that you need to step back and you need to do what you need to do for you, and they give you the freedom to do that. Anyone who doesn't love you, or anyone who was never really your friend, they question on why are you, not hanging out, or why don't you want to come to our dinner party or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you know. That's how you know who's meant to be in your life. When you're doing what you need to do to put yourself in a healthy place, the people that are meant to be in your life, you'll never have to over-explain yourself. And when you have to over-explain yourself, usually you got the wrong people in your life. You got to be very careful with that. And it's not that they're evil, it's that they're on an unhealthy road and they can't understand what real health, and I'm talking about mind, body, and soul health, not just weight. Please believe that. Because health is wealth. We're talking about weight, but I also want to talk a little bit about mental health and a little bit about emotional health. Because again, I believe in a mind, body, soul, and they all play a part. When your mind isn't healthy, when your emotions aren't healthy, your body won't be healthy. I don't care if you're skinny. I don't care if you look great. I know plenty of people that look phenomenal, and you see them and they're gorgeous or they're handsome guys, but they're stressed out, they have no control of their emotions, and they're not happy. And that's the whole reason, why I'm talking about this. Health affects everyone I've met. I don't care if somebody I meet in the business world, somebody I meet in my personal world, somebody I meet living out of a car, somebody I meet living in a house, somebody I meet single, or someone that I meet in a marriage. I could tell you there's one common denominator of humankind, and that's health. And health is the major foundational piece of your quality of life. And when you're not healthy, you're not happy, period. And I want us to focus on what we can control and just be mindful of it. And every time, and you can't keep unhealthy stuff in the house, period. Being around unhealthy stuff, especially in the beginning of your journey, is just going to hurt you, in my opinion. And what I want to say too is that, with regards to Milano's mentioning smoking and drinking, there was I knew some people that were overweight, and I never really saw them overeat. And I said, man, I wonder why they're overweight. And really, the reason they were overweight, they drank a lot of beer and they drank a lot of alcohol. And I didn't really realize that at my immature age, that how much alcohol, how many calories, and how much it can really make you bloat up and be overweight. I didn't realize that. I don't know, for whatever reason, just like I didn't realize how much cholesterol was in ice cream. But drinking can really affect your weight. You don't have to overeat necessarily, but if you're a heavy drinker, that's why you see so many people with the big bellies, etc., etc. So, again, it's not just about somebody you'll see eating fried foods. It could be somebody who just drinks a lot of beer or drinks a lot of wine, whatever. And so be mindful of how alcohol affects. And of course, smoking is the number one cause of preventable deaths. And I smoked cigarettes for years. From the age of 12 to 25, I smoked Newport cigarettes. And I thank God, through trial and error, I was, able to be delivered from that, because smoking will kill you first, and then obesity is the second preventable. Smoking is the number one preventable cause of death. Obesity-related diseases are the number two cause of preventable deaths. So if you can stop smoking and you can try to get your weight under control, I know it's not easy. I'm saying this with a lot of compassion, that I believe, you will live a better quality of life, and you will pretty much knock off the top two killers of preventable deaths. The third is alcohol. So if you don't smoke, if you don't drink, and if your diet is somewhat healthy, you've eliminated the top three things that kill most people. think about it. It's very powerful. Not easy though, and again, I have compassion. Um, List. Let's see here. Oh, Audrey Rodriguez, love and respect to you. It's my first time meeting you. Grocery store video. Hello, all. Happy Tuesday. Oh, it's Glam Gypsy. Glam Gypsy's in the house. Glam Gypsy's got an AKA alias. I like the profile picture too. Hey, Glam Gypsy. How's the pilot doing? It's Miss Kimberly. It's pronounced quinoa. Oh, okay. I have heard of that. It's a grain, an alternative to rice. Okay. You know what? Somebody did mention that. It's Miss Kimberly. I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know much about that, though. I did see, somebody did say that to me one time. I never researched it. Thank you for mentioning that. That's a good point. Milano, you need to know your limits. Yes, very true and very hard, but that's wisdom. Knowing the limits is wisdom. I hate that. So true. It's Miss Kimberly. 3 hand claps. Thank you. Margaritas have a lot of sugar. A lot of sugar and salt. It's Miss Kimberly said margaritas, the drink margaritas, have a lot of sugar and salt. That's 100. She said they have a lot of sugar, but they also have a lot of salt. Sugar and salt are 2 of the most addictive properties. Studies show that sugar and salt are more addictive than cocaine. So I know I did a video on that early on in my channel when I first read that information, that the effects that sugar and salt have on the brain are more addictive and more powerful than cocaine. And so that's why food addiction is a real thing. And that's why foods that have preservatives of salt and of high sugar, they become addictive, because they're engineered as such by these food companies, because they realize that's what makes people, gravitate towards them. And that's why a plant-based diet, there's limited sugars and there's limited salt. It's only natural occurring sugars and, natural occurring like saltiness of sodium. But, you just have to be mindful of that. It's Miss Kimberly. Yep. There's a documentary on Netflix about it. Okay, I don't have Netflix anymore, but I could YouTube it. Yeah, I canceled my Netflix. Obviously, I just live out of my car, so I just use my phone, which I'm holding up right now, a little bit different angle you guys are getting tonight. But I'm just unwinding. I'm just laid back a little bit in my seat before I'll probably be up for another hour. So I don't know if I'll do a live stream that long, but I'm just lounging. And so I'm holding the phone rather than having it on my holder, at least for now. I may change that. But health is your wealth, guys. And that's just been really powerful on my spirit today, especially as I was talking to a couple people and they're struggling with their health. And Milano said, because we are not too intelligent. Milano, to some point, you're right, brother. But also to some point, I think it's also that we're human. I think for the most part, even people that are underestimated, I think people are very intelligent. Even if they can't speak well, even if they don't know a lot. But what I think is that we all struggle with human emotions. And again, Mike Tyson says everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. And that's why when we're talking about health, it can't just be an intelligent standpoint of knowing the nutritional facts. It has to also be from a standpoint of knowing how emotional stress can cause overeating and how anxieties can cause overeating. And that's why it's important that you not only have healthy food, but healthy relationships, that you manage your stress. That's why I always say live below your means. Why? Because when you live above or at your means, you have additional stress. And when you have additional stress, that's going to play a part in your physical health. And so your mind, your body, your soul, even your finances, they're all tied together in what I'm calling a lifestyle, okay? I'm not calling this a diet plan. I'm not calling this, just a physical weight, because again, there's plenty of skinny people that are unhealthy. I'm calling this a lifestyle. And health is your wealth. And you live a better quality life when you're healthy. But I hear you, Milano, and I know what you're saying. Oh, Dolores. Oh, you're back from New Hampshire. Of course I remember you, Dolores. And I know you got a couple different things, but I call you D too. D, good to hear from you again, sweetheart. Yes. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, Dad. Oh, Michelle, how are you? New person, Michelle. Good to meet you. Just look at Hollywood actors who seem to have it all, but always seem like there is a mental or addiction problem. Amen. Good comment, Michelle. Michelle said, just look in Hollywood at all the people who seem to have it all. They may look good, they may have a lot of money and fame, but they go to a lot of rehabs. That's true. So Ben Affleck was just out of rehab again for alcoholism. And everybody out there. Even the Kardashians. They're Rob Kardashian struggles with his weight. Guy has all the money in the world. Guy has everything he can want. The sisters in the Kardashians, they've got a lot of plastic surgery. Sometimes I think Kylie got a little bit more plastic surgery than she needed. I think she looked better natural. But why does that matter? Because it comes back to a mental image. Now, certainly, if you have a deformity or something and you need some type of surgery, I wouldn't be against that because we all want to feel like we look good. But what I want to say is that health is just not about your weight. I'm not making this about weight. You know what I mean? Weight is only one part of it. Health is about healthy relationships. It's about living below your means so you're not financially stressed. And it's about not being around people who do a lot of alcohol or drugs or cigarettes, which I've been around all these things, so I don't say it in judgment, but being around them, then seeing my quality of life at that time in my life, then seeing my quality of life now. I mean, where I only have healthy relationships in my life. I'm only around people that give me freedom to be me, and I give people the freedom to be them. I'm only around people that want the best for me. I live below my means. I once lived over my means and at my means. Now I live below my means. My financial freedom has also helped with my stress. I can deal with more at work. Why? Because I'm not stressing about money. I'm not stressing about all these. That matters. And so again, I'm looking at this from a holistic standpoint that for everything we can control in life, your health, your well-being, your mind, your body, and your soul plays a huge part in your quality of life. Whether you're going to be a nomad or whether you're going to be in a fixed location doesn't matter. You will never enjoy life if you're not in a physically well condition, if your mental health is not good, and if you don't have good relationships. And that's the end game. We want to enjoy life as much as possible because we know, I mean, I'm a realistic person too. I know this world's full of shit. I mean, I'm not going to try to act like, but we're blessed. I mean, we live in a great country overall, and even us just communicating through YouTube. I mean, I know people going through, and like I'm sure you do. We all know people going through real hard, legit times. And a lot of times I know people that go through real hard, legit times, they're actually happier than a lot of people that have everything. So, you can never say, you can't take on the sadness of the world, period. In life, to get your health in order, the first thing you have to do is stop trying to fix everyone else. Stop trying to fix everyone else. Stop trying to save this entire world. Work on you. Work on you. Because what I've noticed in life, people are unhealthy physically, mentally, and spiritually because they're trying to help everyone else but themselves. Why? Because they're distracting themselves. The real work begins in the mirror. That's where the real work begins. Not with your spouse, not even with your children, not with your lover, not with your coworkers. The real work of life begins in the mirror. And that will never change. Every day you wake up, the person you have to keep healthy, that person looks right back at you at the mirror. The person you have to keep healthy is yourself. Period. Never forget that. No, I missed some comments here. Let me see if I can scroll back. Milano, if you smoke, you may do drugs too. Yes. Smoking, when I drank alcohol, when I had my Corona, I used to drink like Corona and Hennessy and Coke. Cigarette used to go with that. It's like a thing that feeds off itself. When you eat, when I eat fried chicken, I needed French fries with that, dipped in ketchup. Bad things usually complement bad things. Bad behaviors usually feed off other bad behaviors. It's the opposite effect with good things. You're not going to eat tofu and beans and then, have French fries with that. It's like they don't complement each other. They're two opposites, and they would like be rubbing sandpaper on each other. Healthy things in life complement each other. They don't compete with each other. Same thing with relationships. Like, when you're dealing with a person, like you tell them about some success you had in life or something happy you had in life, they don't try to one-up you. When you have a conversation with somebody and they're always trying to one-up you, it's like, Are you trying to compete with me or are you happy for me? You understand what I'm saying? So it's like the same thing with food. Like, you got to be careful because all I want to say is this, is that negative things feed off negative things, period. And I agree with that, Milano. That's right, Michelle. Yeah, it's Miss Kimberly gave you some love, Michelle. I agree with that. Great comment, Michelle. Audrey, circumstances can affect your health too. Amen, Audrey. I totally agree with that. If you're selling your house, that's a stressful time. If you're in the midst of a divorce, God forbid, stressful time. When I broke up in a couple relationships, it stressed me out. But you know what? It also helped me drop some weight. And sometimes you need that Kickstarter. Like when I broke up with somebody one time, like I couldn't eat anymore because my stomach was so stressed out. And that helped me accelerate my weight loss. Now that's not sustainable, but circumstance, sure. But then we're talking about now not just physical health, we're talking about emotional health and mental health. And so, like, if you're in the midst of a breakup, or if you're in the midst of a bad relationship, you are in an unhealthy place emotionally and mentally. And you don't understand the value of mental health until you're in a bad relationship and you go psycho. I've been there. And then you have compassion. When someone calls you crazy, you will have a higher level of compassion for people that have mental problems. And you will, I don't even believe in, when you call somebody crazy, be careful. I don't like that word. Now, certainly there's people with legit mental problems, but I think you know what I'm saying. I mean, there's certain words that you have to be careful of, and there's certain failures in life that you have to go through to be compassionate. And you have to realize how, again, the mind, body, and soul are very intertwined. And very rarely will you see somebody that has good mental health and good emotional health, but bad physical health. And very rarely will you see somebody that has good physical health, but poor emotional and poor mental. Now, certainly there's always exceptions, but usually, I mean, when somebody, now, if you see somebody on Instagram and they look like, you know what I mean, like a comic hero, and their muscles are bulging out, that's an extremism. I mean, when they're like religiously going to the gym and they're working out to the point where all that, their body doesn't even look natural, that's not healthy. Just like, when you look at like the Kardashians, and even though they may look at like quote unquote the image of like sexy, to me that doesn't look healthy. Kylie's lips doesn't look healthy to me. You can tell when someone's well-rounded and natural. And the older I get, the more mature I get. I mean, I certainly wasn't always at this point. I mean, I was once very immature too. But the more mature I get, I can discern when someone is well balanced, healthy, and when someone is cosmetically has the appearance of health, but inside is decaying. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference. Here's Milano. If you smoke marijuana, you get munchies, right? Definitely. I mean, I smoke marijuana. I mean, I smoked weed for many years. I watched the movie Friday for about 1,000,000 times, and I would eat, you know what I mean? But that's also a level of immaturity. So, I mean, certainly there's a certain point in life where you do immature things, but there's a scripture that says, when I was a child, I acted like a child and behaved like a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. There is a certain point in your journey that you have to put away the immature mindset and the immature actions, and you have to put aside the immature relationships. If you're unwilling to do that, you'll always be doing foolish things. I mean, munchies are cool, and there's a time in your life for all that, but there's a certain point too where you say, you know what, I'm past that point, and I have to mature. So, you know what I'm saying? It's all relative in that aspect, but I agree with that. Society, pressure, friends, family, ourselves. No doubt. Yeah, society put pressure, friends, family, ourselves, but just start with yourself. Just start with yourself. Take care of yourself. Don't try to save your family members. Don't try to save your friends. Don't try to save this world. Don't try to, be the next president. What you need to do, don't worry about, who's doing the next sexual assault. All those things are important. I'm certainly not saying don't engage in society and the society issues. But I see so many people get consumed with society issues and with family members and friends, and they do it all at their own demise. To save, to help, and to be a positive influence in this world, the first thing you have to do is get yourself in a healthy place. Because the blind can't lead the blind. And if you're not in a good place, what value are you going to add to the conversation? You're not. It's just going to be another contentious voice in the already loud voices of contention. And nobody wins like that. Sugar equals poison, Milano says. Amen. Sugar does equal poison. And certainly we want a little bit of sweetness in life, because if it's just all bland, then there's a little bit no enjoyment. I've did that road too. So I want to have a well-balanced mind where I say a little bit of sugar, but sugar overall is poison, and you have to keep it very limited. They say the average male should have no more than 38 grams of added sugar per day. Added sugar means natural sugars would be sugars found in a banana, example. Refined sugar, added sugar, would be sugar found in like a health bar. So when you look in the back of a nutritional table on a food package, add the sugar up per serving and how many servings you're going to eat. For a male, they shouldn't eat more than 38 grams of added sugar a day. For a female, they should not eat more than 25 grams of added sugar per day. And sugar has a huge effect on your health, mental health as well. Amen. Health is wealth, man. Andrea, at Steer Packers game, think back to some things you enjoyed in your childhood. That sometimes help you know your purpose. Yeah, no, Glam Gypsy, no, there's no doubt about that. I mean, what sparks your inspiration and your creative juices can be traced back sometimes to the visions and the dreams you had as a child. There's wisdom in keeping a childlike spirit, but there is maturity in ending a childlike mindset. And discerning the difference between the two is wisdom. Dolores D. from New Hampshire. I had to make an emotional decision because I wanted to go off my program today, but told myself no and went straight home. Well, God bless you, man. Congratulations. And I want you to know that even if you didn't go straight home, and one day if you don't go straight home and you make the wrong decision, I want to speak compassion and grace over you. And if anyone out there falls, I want them to have the encouragement to get up. And I want you to always be mindful on how you talk to yourself. Because the healthier you talk to yourself, the healthier you will be. Period. Milano, we are not perfect. Amen, Milano, that's right. We're not perfect. And I think there's wisdom. What I shared on my Instagram today was just a quick message. You know what it said? It said, don't try to be perfect. Period. I mean, receive that word. Don't try to be perfect. Try to just be better. You know, have a goal to be better, strive for it, and then give yourself grace to be a little bit imperfect. And that's a free mind. A rigid mind has an image of perfection, and that's not healthy. And health is wealth. And you're going to be dead broke if you have an image in your mind of you want to be perfect. There's no such thing in this world. All of us fail. And all of us have a level of imperfection. And, you know what I mean? Like, I actually would get more concerned if someone never shared about their imperfections, or never shared about them overeating, or never shared about them being in an unhealthy relationship. Certainly some people are better at other things than others, but the people that are so straight-laced, they're the people that, next thing you know, like they were committing sexual assault, and, they were doing crazy shit on the side, because, we're all human, and we all have a level of imperfection. And certainly we want to try to be better, but certainly being honest about our imperfection is empowering. That's healthy. When you are honest about your imperfection, that's healthy. And if health is wealth, that's wisdom. Now, I will often say gambling can be very unhealthy. Of course, we all gamble. We all take a little bit of risks. Now, I'm speaking now specifically about like straight gambling. And I've done that for years. But why am I even mentioning that? Because I always told people that gamble, look, if you want to gamble, if you earn your money and you want to, and if you're entertained by gambling, I don't like to judge people and like tell, but all I'll say is always be honest about when you lose. A gambler that's in an unhealthy place will only tell you about when they win. And that's not true. There's no such thing as a perfect gambler. We all sometimes take risks, whether they're gambling or whatever, but we all don't always win. So I am okay with somebody who says, look, I choose to gamble for my own, and I admit that I gamble, and I work for my money, so I want to gamble, that's fine. I take care of my responsibilities. But then at least I want them to be honest about their losses. And if someone wants to drink, I'd rather them be honest than have to be ashamed. I think honesty is owning your situation, and owning your situation is empowering. I mean, that's why the first part of many rehabilitation programs is admitting what you do. Right or wrong, being honest about it. That's empowering. That's wisdom. Let's see. I'm going to get to some comments. Amara, Steer Pack, you might get some ideas from a personality assessment like 16personalities.com. You take a free assessment and you get info, possibly careers, etc. Okay, I never heard about that. Did I miss a comment from the guy you're mentioning? Yeah, I must have missed that. I don't even see it in my feed. As far as Steer Pack, I must have missed that comment. It's Miss Kimberly. Say that. Thank you. It's Miss Kimberly. I appreciate you. Love and respect. You're very encouraging to me. Miss Kimberly's beautiful. Audrey Amara, that's a great suggestion. Glam Gypsy's in the house. Is that Glam Gypsy with coffee in her profile picture? I can't tell. Glam Gypsy, what's that in your profile picture that you got hold up? I can't tell from me looking at your phone. From me looking at the phone. Amara, thanks, Andrea. I found that assessment useful. Moon Dancer, hey Moon Dancer. It's Miss Kimberly. Are you referring to Forks Over Knives? Moon Dancer. Forks Over Knives is the movie I would recommend for everybody. I've said that a million times. Forks Over Knives. Thank you, Moon Dancer. Is a plant-based diet movie that was once on Netflix. I think now it's on YouTube. That really helped me. Excuse me. Milano, control is key. Amen. Control is key. We talked about it a little bit last night. Self-control is key. Is it easy to have self-control? No. Do we all fail? Yes. But why is it wisdom to have a goal as self-control? Because anytime you have a goal, you end up better than if you never had a goal. It's Miss Kimberly. Probably so, Moon Dancer. I've seen that before. Yes. Okay, good. Moon Dancer. We gamble every day when we walk out the door, get in a car. That's definitely true. No, and that's why I said we all take risks. You know, some people do it gambling on sports. Some people do it gambling in stocks. Some people do it gambling, you know what I mean, by flying, by doing dangerous. You know, we all do it. That's why I say I'm not trying to shame anybody. Just own it and be honest about it. The more you conceal something, usually the unhealthy the mind is. And then you don't own it. You're not empowering. You're concealing. You're deceiving, even if it's just yourself. You know what I mean? You know, not that you have to share everything with anybody. But I hear that. Moon Dancer gave the smiley face emoji. Moon Dancer, I'm a healthy food nut. That's wisdom. A little bit. Well, when you're a little bit nut, you laugh out loud. Been studying nutrition ever since I saw that documentary. Amen. Amen. I'm glad it helped you. Audrey, okay, so Glam Gypsy, what is that? No, it's an outfit. Laugh out loud. Okay, when I'm done with the live feed, I'm gonna check your profile picture and see what outfit that is. What's the outfit? And what is it? Is it pants? Is it shirt? And are you into fashion? I had a girl that from down south that I was cool with, just a friend, and she came up here. She studied at what was it, the New York School of Fashion? What do they call it, like FIT or something like that, Fashion Institute? She was real into fashion. I think she still is. So some people really get inspired by fashion. I mean, as I've simplified my life, I'm not really into, you know, I mean, I'm just into more now being comfortable. You know what I mean? And what I'll say too is, what you help. Glad you took a trip to Florida, a part of mental health as well. Yes, part of mental health is seeing different things. One thing that will kill your mental health and inspiration is seeing the same shit every day, period. And that's why I'm a little bit hesitant about buying a home base. Because one thing that really hurt me mentally, we're talking about mental health now, health is wealth. One thing that hurt me mentally was when I lived in the same condo for 15 years, I saw the same shit every day. And for the first couple of years, that's okay. You're still inspired. But after 10, 15 years, seeing the same things every day wears on your mind. And going to different locations and seeing different things is healthy for your mind. I mean, now it's so freeing to me, and living out of my car, and like me being able to, you know, certainly me being able to have that freedom to just see different things and, you know, start my car, go to a different location is very healthy. There certainly also comes to a point, though, where you see everything you thought you wanted to see, and then you're tired of everything. I mean, it's all relative, but the breaking of a routine and the freeing of the mind is wisdom. And there also, to balance that, there also needs to be a level of routine and structure. Like, you know, I had a couple of weeks where I was just kind of like totally flying as a free bird. And then now I'm up in the New York area and I'm going to work and I'm on a structured schedule again, where for a couple of days while I need to be on site for my job, like I have a familiar structured schedule. And so that is also that's also a little bit helpful too, because when you work totally remotely, even though I'm at the point in my life where I can discipline and structure my day, I have no problem with that. There's benefit to having a structured day. Again, I made a video too that life is a two-part equation to be the best you. You need a level of structure and you need a level of creativity. That's a healthy mind. You can't be overly structured, and you can't have too, creativity is totally free-flowing, no type of structure. You need both of those type of things, both of that type of mindset to be in a healthy place, okay? It's Miss Kimberly. I want to visit all 50 states. Yeah, that's interesting, Miss Kimberly. I don't have that dream, but I respect people that do. And again, I want to encourage all you guys to go after your dreams, especially if you don't have the obligations. Like, I mean, it's Miss Kimberly, you don't have kids and everything. I would definitely say do that. Mitch, I think you would be great on TED Talk. Thank you, Mitch. I've watched TED Talk a couple times. Some things have been very inspiring, but thank you, Mitch, for that compliment. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you, man. God bless you. Lamb Cam. Hey, I haven't seen Lamb Cam in a while. Diet soda is poison, even worse than sugar, if you already didn't know that. No, diet soda does have some type of a different, like, additives in it that does make it somewhat poisonous. But I'm honest with you guys. I have one large Diet Coke per day with my meal. I showed you that in my video. Now, depending on where I'm at, I may just buy like a 20-ounce bottle. But if like I'm by a work area, then I'll go to McDonald's and I'll buy a large Diet Coke there. And then I'll have that with my salad. So I have a level of that as a treat. I know it's not 100% healthy. I did 100% healthy in my life where all I ate was like water and nuts and vegetables. So that's one of those things I consider a little bit of a treat. I recognize and I'm honest that it's not 100% healthy, but I'm still in a relatively very healthy lifestyle. So I accept that. And that to me, I'm still very well balanced, but I do hear and acknowledge that diet soda, especially if you're going to drink more than one a day, is unhealthy. So it's an excellent point, Lamb Cam. Thank you again, Mitch, for your kindness. Thank you. Moon Dancer. Amaria, it takes 21 days to develop a habit. Moon Dancer, great point. It takes 21 days for a human to form a new habit. So just figure 3 weeks, figure 1 month. It's going to take for you to consistently do something to actually form a habit. Very powerful. Amaria, Moon Dancer. It takes me a lot longer to break a habit. Yes, that's a good point. Amaria, and forgive me again if I'm saying your name wrong. Amaria says, she was responding to Moon Dancer. It seems like it takes me longer than 21 days is what she's saying to break a bad habit. And she laughed out loud. That one is, it's a sign of good mental health if you can laugh at yourself. I'm encouraged. I am always encouraged anytime I have a conversation with somebody and they can laugh at themselves. Sometimes I even like say to myself, like, Sam, you got to laugh at yourself a little bit more. And I'm pretty good at it because that's wisdom. It relieves stress. Laughing at yourself relieves stress. And managing your stress is part of your health. Your health is your wealth. And so that's good that you can laugh at yourself. And that's also an excellent point, Amaria. That's why we have to be very conscious of what type of habits we're creating. I always say, yes, you can get away with it once. Yes, you can get away with it twice. But you always have to ask yourself, even if you can get away with something multiple times without getting in trouble for it or without whatever, what type of habit are you forming? Very powerful. And because habits are hard to break, you can break them, though. I want to be clear. I don't want to speak that. You can break them. You can break them. Amen. Glam Gypsy got a Nissan Quest van instead of the Element. Oh, all right. But I'm not mad at you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I slept in it for 2 days to see how I felt. Best 2 days ever. Just need a heater. And the smiley face emoji. Glam Gypsy. Well, one is, I'm happy for you. If everybody out there wants to be happy for Glam Gypsy with me, please give a hand clap emoji or the hand pump emoji. Because I'm happy for Glam Gypsy. She's taken a step closer to her dream. And I want everybody to live their dream as much as possible. And so I want to encourage Glam Gypsy. Audrey is her name in this profile. Audrey. Just, show Audrey some love. Now, a Nissan Quest. So she's basically getting a minivan. Now, Glam Gypsy, I think you're still part-timing, though, as a nomad, right? You're not living full-time out of there yet? What's your take on that? Moon Dancer. Real sugar is better than fake sugar. I agree with that, Moon Dancer. That's a good point. It's Miss Kimberly. More than 21 days if you're an addict. Yeah. Well, more than 21 days. It could be. I mean, but that's, again, you have to, these are just general rules. And everyone has different types of tendencies. Some people are more inclined to have self-discipline than others. So everything is relative, right? To who you are and to what type of person you are, etc., etc. So I'm just on my phone here because I got a little tired of holding it. But yeah, it's all relative to one sense. Audrey, health is wealth. And she gave the damn, this phone's messing up. Health is wealth, says Glam Gypsy. And I love the emoji. She gave the head emoji with somebody massaging their head. Now, I like when somebody massages my head. I'm not going to lie about that. That'll be healthy for me. Milano's leaving. Milano, thank you for joining, brother. I appreciate you. Love and respect to Miami. Milano, I appreciate you. You're a very wise person. Thank you for all your comments. Have a peaceful night, brother. Love and respect. Moon Dancer, I train dogs, and that's how long we've trained a dog, a new habit, 3 to 4 times for 21 days. That's wisdom, Moon Dancer. 21 days it takes to form a new habit on average. 21 days it takes to form a new habit on average. So to form a new habit, 21 days on average, there may be things that people that aren't average, they're below or above average, but the average is 21 days. I agree with that. Moon Dancer, give the hands up emoji. And Audrey say, wow, Moon Dancer. So, I mean, it's powerful. And Audrey, Glam Gypsy, are you living full-time out of there, or are you just trying it out? But what I want to say is, I just want to conclude on this. I'm not going to stress this one out tonight. I started a little bit late tonight, and I wasn't sure if I was going to go live. But it was on my spirit so heavy today, especially, it's always on my spirit. Health is your wealth is a huge part of life. Mental health, physical health, emotional health. You know, if you decide, whatever lifestyle you decide, nomad, not a nomad, married, single, corporate world, have your own business, it doesn't matter. Health is your wealth. That's a common denominator of life, no matter what type of person you are, no matter what your dream is. I want you to always reflect on that. And I want you to know that it's okay to not sit in the same room as your family members if they're eating unhealthy food and you can't be around it. I want you to know that it's okay to not sit in the same office if your coworkers are eating donuts for breakfast and coffee and you can't be around it. I want you to know that, to cut off certain relationships that stress you out and that make you feel insecure. As best you can. I know this world's shit. I understand this world's hard, but have a goal, focus on a goal. And even if you fail, even if you don't end up 100% at the goal, you will be better than when you started. 10% better than what you started is better than 0% better. 10% better is better than 0% better. So anything you can do to improve your life is wisdom. Just want to catch up on the final comments, and I'm going to give one concluding thing. I had to decide between watching Health is Wealth or See What You Eat for Dinner. It's not an easy choice. Yeah, it's not an easy choice. But don't forget to, these things always play back. But thank you, Moon Dancer, for the love. Appreciate that. And it's good to laugh. It's good to laugh. Thank you. Audrey, I tried it out for a moment, transitioning to full-time, but thanks for the live amazing topic. Very timely. No problem, Glam Gypsy. Thank you for sharing your life. And I appreciate love and respect to you, beautiful woman. And I'm going to check out that outfit that you have in your profile picture to see what style you like. It's Miss Kimberly. Laugh out loud with the hand pointing up. Amen. It's Miss Kimberly, one of my original viewers, a great supporter and a great encouraging. Audrey says, thanks for inspiring. Thank you for being a friend. And Moon Dancer, Glam Gypsy gave you a Moon Dancer emoji. I like that emoji. That's good. If you're addicted to fast food and have a hard time passing it up, imagine a disgusting person I've seen fixing your food. Believe me, you'll keep on driving by. Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I've been there too, so I have compassion. Even my mom, who was very overweight, when I first started losing weight and changing my lifestyle, she didn't understand. And she would start to tell me, like, Sam, you can eat this. This is healthy. And I don't say this in judgment, but I want to share my life with you. So one day I was sitting at the kitchen table and my mom was telling me, like, look, Sam, you're overdoing it. You can eat this. It's healthy. And then I just looked at my mom and I saw how overweight she was and unhealthy she was. And I said, I love and respect my mother, but how can I take her advice? Look at her physical condition and everything else. And that's harsh to say, but I think you guys hear the tone I'm saying it in. It's not in disrespect. I love my mom. I thank God for my mom. And I don't judge my mom. But I'm sharing this to say because I want this to help you. That even someone as close as your mother or your husband or your wife or your, whoever, somebody who's trying to tell you about health, if they're not in a good place, you can't take their advice. None of us are 100% perfect. Me neither. So I'm not trying to say, like, only take someone's advice who's perfect and totally in shape. I read a news article today that some guy who was a personal trainer at Planet Fitness He took, like, you know what I mean? He basically seduced some girl from Planet Fitness that he was training to go to her house to take a supplement, and then he drugged her, and then he had sex with her. So again, the guy had physical health, but then he seduced this woman and then took advantage of her sexually. He had poor emotional health. I don't want you to think that health is solely about your weight. Weight is only one part of it. Health is about your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual well-being, and just your well-being, period. Mind, body, soul. Your health is your wealth. Focus on what you can't control. Focus on what you can control. There's plenty of things you can't. Focus on what you can control. Try to keep yourself in a healthy place. If you fall, you get up. And I want to conclude on this powerful thing. Watch how you talk to yourself. Talk to yourself in a healthy way. Start there. Stay inspired.